After 7 years, Dying Light 2 is finally here. Because I'm completely normal, the first thing I thought of when I saw this beauty waiting to be played was, can you beat it with no weapons? And let me tell you, that was an adventure that I do not regret taking. Before I start the video, I just want to say that I skipped most of the story here. The game just came out, so I know not everyone has finished it yet, and I'm only really showing the gameplay parts for the most part. This will be more a short and sweet video. Maybe future Dying Light 2 videos will be longer, but I don't know. It's a long game. I'm also using a new editing software, so sorry if this video is all janky and stuff. The rules are simple. I can only use my body to kill zombies. That means punching, kicking, drop kicking, grappling, and takedowns. I started this challenge very anxious about what lay ahead of me. I had already finished the game once, so I was pretty sure it was possible, but I knew it would take a trek to get there. Starting out with my boy Spike was mostly just a speedrun to get to the zombies. I had already beat the game once on hard before starting this, so I needed to get into some combat to test it on normal. I chose normal because I thought hard might be, well, too hard. In the end, it turns out I think I made a pretty good call. Back to the game though, I got my first kill on some poor zombie that was just chillaxing on a cliff, and chillaxing. That's like such a white person. I am white, never mind. I got my first kill on some poor zombie that was just chillaxing on a cliff, and it was time for a first combat encounter. There's this special zombie here. I'm not really sure what it's called, and honestly, I was pretty scared for my life here. I thought he was going to tear me a new one, and he did at first, but I got the hang of him pretty fast. Turns out the kick actually does some decent damage in this game compared to the first. Also, the health bars made this challenge way more manageable. I started out just kicking because I actually didn't realize you could unequip the weapon that the game gave you, which is another problem. Anytime you don't have a weapon equipped, and if you pick up a weapon, the game auto-equips it. It's kind of annoying. I had to unequip a weapon at least like 45 times. Now it was on to our first human enemies. I didn't know this until now, but you can actually parry humans with your fists, so basically it was here I realized, okay, I think I can do this. After caressing about 10 people's faces with my foot and running around at night with hack on, you have to run into a hospital to get a biomarker. This brings me to one of my saving graces for this run as compared to the first game. There is so much stealth. Dying Light 2 definitely is not a stealth game, but you totally can stealth through lots of stuff, and that just made my life so much easier, and I would kiss Techland if I could. Except not a very passionate kiss because Hakon walks so freaking slow. I'm over here trying to speedrun this crap, and he's just taking his time, strolling around like I'm not about to turn into a zombie and eat his face. There's this part where you run through this like subway thing, and there's a lot of zombies, and it sucked super bad because I got caught and I had to punch like 18 zombies to death on a timer. Yeah, the zombies have like an oddly large amount of health, or maybe the fists do no damage. That might be it, yeah. After getting interrogated by Ador, there's a part where you have to look for some crystals. There's this super cool fun time big guy that I pretended not to see because I didn't want to acknowledge this higher power over Aiden yet because I know what happens later in the game. Next, I had to go see Mommy Dummy Sophie and do a stealth section. I got caught in about 4 seconds and wanted to die, but I did find one of my favorite babies here, spikes. You can insta-kill basically anything with spikes, so they're literally like so OP. Techland, please don't nerf. Now it was time for my first boss fight, Jack and Joe. There's an option to negotiate with them, but I didn't want to do another quest, so... This fight was really annoying because there's two of them. Basically, one of them does light attacks and the other one does heavy attacks. Since I'm relying on parkour combat for a lot of stun damage, I kind of need the light attack guy to like attack me. But he kind of like just wouldn't, and I got my ass handed to me like 4 times. But I did it eventually. It took like 10 minutes, but I did it eventually. Literally, right after that, there's a Barney boss fight. He's just by himself though, so I didn't have to defenestrate myself. On my first playthrough of the game, I actually just got him stuck in the closet and threw Molotovs at him. He literally just screamed for like 5 minutes and then just drops dead. Lol. Next, we got back into another subway thingy, except this time I had to survive for like 25 minutes running in circles, which was kinda gay. But it turns out Hakon betrayed me or something and stole my GRE key and made off with it. So I promptly let him suffer 5 minutes later, just like he deserves. Just kidding, I really liked Hakon. He was a really enjoyable character. Come on, Techland, why? Now there's another Barney fight, literally again, except this time I absolutely like shreked him. There's this zombie type here that charges you and has armor around it, so you can only hit it from the back. Pause. No homo. This made me practically want to rage quit. Like, I seriously got pissed off, like really pissed off here, because I died like over 8 times. When you capture Waltz, you go into Reddit mode and kill everything. After that, we get to meet Levon. That's cool, I guess. Not really. Again, Hakon, way cooler than Levon. Anyway, this next part is actually something I was dreading, believe it or not. The fisheye gets raided by a bunch of TikTokers and they also beat my ass, but that wasn't the real problem. The issue here is that this is the first part of the game that times you on combat. Basically, there's this missile launcher that you can't let go off or else you fail the mission, but they're guarded by like 5 people. So if you haven't figured out already, I can't kill 5 people in 1 minute. Punching does very little damage. By this point, I also didn't have the drop kick or any special abilities besides the heavy punch, so I kind of just had to hope to God that I could punch him off the roof. Surprisingly, that actually kind of worked. You have to do this 2 or 3 times, which is pretty annoying, but at least the renegades are on a roof, so it's not really the end of the world like it is later. By this point, I'd gotten the grapple skill that lets you throw people that are coming at you. I can't even begin to tell you how helpful that was for me. It was so awesome. Up next was the single most daunting thing about this whole playthrough. I had genuine doubts that this would even be possible. I thought the giant goon fight would end the whole run. I think they're called goons, I'm not actually entirely sure. The game, like, Aiden says it like once. I don't really know. Anyway, it turns out this is possible, it just really sucks. Basically, you wait for the goon to charge into a wall, then you punch him while he's stunned. It works, it just takes literally like 45 minutes. I found out you can actually kick the explosive barrels and they actually do go off, so that give me a little damage boost. I didn't pick them up, so it's technically not cheating, but it kinda maybe is, I don't know, you decide. I wasn't taking this challenge super seriously, so it didn't matter to me anyway, this was just for fun. At the end, I realized I had some consumables that increased my damage, so I used those and absolutely demolished this demolisher. I think that's what they were called in the first game. I think they were called demolishers. That name is really cool. I absolutely demolished this demolisher while I was high out of my mind. Also, fun fact, this weird high effect goes into cutscenes too, just in case you wanted to know that. Maybe I should try like a playthrough where I'm entirely high the whole time, like from mods. That would actually be really tough because it makes your mouse move like super slow. That could actually work. Holy crap, okay. Anyway, I hated that a lot. It sucked, it used up all my meds, but I knew what was coming next. I wanted to slap Techland for this on my first playthrough. So you do this, right? You kill this big demolisher goon guy, and then literally 5 minutes later, you fight another one. Like, what the hell? Come on, that's not cool. I did get some cool explosions though. I like kicked this barrel and then it like timed exploded on his chest. It was pretty cool. Also, I found this cool spot where you can just throw all the zombies out the window. That was pretty fun. Next was the VNC tower. Honestly, this was my favorite part of the game. I loved climbing up this building with some epic music. Seriously, I would have paid $60 for just this part of the game alone. The grappling hook is awesome. Initially, I was scared at this part because this is where the exploding zombies come into play, but it turns out you can actually just run up to them and then run away and you won't take any damage. Also, this zombie's name is Chris, and if you pick up his dog tags, it says Chris Redfield. That's pretty neat. Now, there's a bunch more of those timed cannon segments. These really sucked, especially since one of them wasn't on a rooftop. I only actually got it by sheer luck, honestly. If you get hit anywhere during the animation to stop the cannon, it stops it. And it takes like a good 8 seconds and it sucks. The next part of the game is the observatory. Turns out you can stealth pretty much this entire area, so there's not really much at all to say here. Now we finally got here, the epilogue. It starts out with a bunch of melee combat, but by this point I was pretty good at parrying, so that wasn't actually a problem. There were also some spikes sitting around that I abused the crap out of, and some ledges that were absolutely primed for drop kicking. At this point, the game was really testing me. I had to fight probably over 30 or 40 enemies with my fists, and let me tell you, I was ready for this to be over. Also, I got my ass handed to me like 8 times because this was really hard, okay? One part I was concerned about was this part in the GRE bunker where there's a bunch of enemies and a bunch of volatiles in the same room as you. I got caught and literally almost shit my pants, but I got out surprisingly. Now I was finally here. I was finally at the boss fight with no weapons. I was pretty confident. I thought I could do it. But then this happened. That's right, Waltz doesn't take any damage when you punch him. At first, I was devastated. Did I really come all this way for nothing? After enough punches, I realized that they actually do deal damage, but like 1/10 millionth of his health bar. I thought all hope was lost because that would take too long. But then something happened. I tried to dropkick Waltz and it actually did damage. I don't know why, but for some reason the dropkick does approximately 4,000 times more damage than a punch does. Honestly, I didn't care though because now I knew that I could kill Waltz. I died. A lot. I wanted to rage quit here so bad, but I didn't. I stuck with it, and I'm sure glad that I did. After about 10 straight minutes of drop kicking, I kicked Waltz into his second phase. See what I did there? Kicked Waltz, yeah, it's pretty good, huh? This one really stumped me. He runs around really fast and charges at you, and he doesn't get stunned when you kick him. I was about to give up when I realized that because of how gravity works in this game, you can actually jump super high and then drop kick. That means I don't have to get hit by him, but he can get hit by me, because for some reason, the dropkick's hitbox literally is like insane. It's like a shotgun blast. Fueled with adrenaline that I could actually win, I did this for about 7 minutes until I won. The third phase of the boss was actually the most surprising. You know what those punches that just didn't work before? Well, yeah, they worked now. No clue why, they just randomly do a bunch of damage now. So basically, I beat the absolute shit out of Waltz like I had a blood vendetta. The fourth and final phase is a volatile one. Basically, once again, you just beat the shit out of him with your hands. Also, Aiden started to transform back into a human right on top of a pile of that radiation stuff. How does that work? Wouldn't you just like turn back into a volatile? I don't know. I don't care. I just beat the freaking game with no weapons. Anyway, thank you everyone who made it this far. Most people usually don't. I had a lot of fun trying this. Dying Light challenges always give you a run for your money, but never really feel unfair. Next, I'm thinking of trying a no upgrade run, a no grappling hook run, or maybe a no throwables run. An only throwables run. Sadly, this game doesn't have any broken weapons, so you can't beat it with just broken weapons. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like. If you didn't like it, go ahead and leave a dislike, not that it matters. And I hope you all have a much better day than I'm having right now.